Today I want to share with you one of my favorite finishes from start to finish, Rubio Monocoat Oil 2C. This color that I'm working with today is their white 5%. It comes in two parts, and as you can see, I've broken the two cans apart. This is a brand new can. The smaller can is the hardener, and they've kind of redesigned the can here recently, and it has this pull top that you pull up, as you can see here, and it twists off, so it makes it an easy pour into the spoon. This is the colored part here. You mix this in a 3-to-1 ratio. Always make sure I shake it up good. And pry the top off, and we'll get 3 spoons of it. I think on this video, on this application, I used 6 teaspoons of the white and then 2 teaspoons of the hardener, so it's a 3-to-1 ratio. All right, so I've got my 6 white of the color going in right now. And then next up I will have 2 spoonfuls of the hardener. Now after you do this, you'll need to make sure that you really stir this up well so that the A and the B part can come together to make a really hard finish. So got everything in the cup now, I'll just mix it up really good. Today we're going to be using it on a white oak top that I'm building a vanity. This is the top for it. You can kind of see there to the right. That's the vanity that I've finished up. This is the last part of it, and I'm going to get it finished up today. So I've got it stirred up pretty good, and then after I get it stirred up pretty good, then I'm going to put my spoon over here into another empty cup, and I'm going to go get my spreader because I forgot it. And I'm going to come back and I'm just going to drop some of this oil on it. Just pour a little amount on there like that, and then I'll just start pulling it all over the board. The stuff smells smooth. Excuse me. It spreads like butter. It spreads really good. And then I just make sure I try to cover the surface of it good. And then after I get everything covered with the spreader, then I dump a little bit more on to get good coverage, just like this. And then I usually use my hand to get the outside edges. Like I said earlier, this is 6 teaspoons of the white and then 2 teaspoons of the hardener. And that should be more than enough to do the top as well as the sides. All right, so I'm going to be finishing that up here. And we'll get to the sides. I use gloves when I apply this stuff because a lot of times I'll just rub it in with my gloves. As you'll see here, I just start putting some on my fingers and start rubbing it on the side and really massage it in the grain good, just like that. And also do it on the edges good, as you can see, to make sure I get a good smooth coat. The good part about this product is you can't put too much. I guess you could put too little, but once you rub this on, it really penetrates through the grain. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, you can go ahead and start rubbing this stuff off. The thing you can't do with Rubio Monocoats, you can't leave it on for a long time or it kind of gets slimy. So after 3 to 5 minutes, I'm wiping it off, as you'll see in just a few minutes. I'll wipe it off with just paper towels and get a nice finish. So I'm working on the other side of the end grain down there. Carefully going around, just trying to get all the edges really good and getting it rubbed in good. This is a really simple finish for me because it's just a one-step application. You know, you've got stains where you have to spread the stain, let it dry for a day or two, and then you have to spray clear. I really enjoy doing the Rubio when I can find a color that I really like. And this is a color that I really like. White 5% on white oak is my favorite finish. And I think you'll see a good result here at the end when it finishes up. My other go-to for Rubio Monocoat is their Pure. The Pure is like a clear that you can put on a lot of different things. I use it on walnut. For the most part, I use it on walnut. It really pops the grain well on it. After you apply it, like I said, you don't have to wait long. Then I'm just start buffing this off. What I like to do on when I'm buffing this off for the first time, is I like to keep the same rag. It's pretty saturated by this point, and I like to continue to keep enough on there so it just rubs in the extra places that I might not have gotten too good. And I'll keep that rag and wipe down the whole thing to begin with. After I feel like I got a good coverage on everything, then I'll switch it out with another, new set of paper towels, and then I'll just continue to buff this off. The good part also about this product is you can't buff it off. Like you can't rub it too hard. You can't actually take the finish off. It really just helps to penetrate it into the grain. And at this point, I got most all of it off. Now I'm just working on the sides. A lot of times it'll have some drips on the bottom side and on the underside, so I pay close attention to that part to make sure I get all of it off so the underside of the board is nice and smooth. So when you're doing this product, I sand to 120 before I put the coat on. The coat of Rubio, I think that's what the directions call for. I can get a pretty smooth surface off 120. I'll tell you another thing that you can do. Some people like to double coat it, and if you do that, you can, put one coat of oil on like I'm doing here, buff it off, and then after a day, let it dry, and then you can hit it with like 320, like hand sand it with 320 and come back with another light coat, and you can get a nice smooth finish with that as well. Usually with the 5%, the white 5%, I get a pretty good coat, consistent coat, and I hardly ever have to do 2 coats. The Rubio Pure, sometimes I have to come back with 2 coats. So that's about it. It's all finished up, and voila.